Ever wanted to slap someone in the face?
I didn't forget about you. There's a slap for you. Slap, slap, slap. Yeah, there you go. Here's a little reach around the back of the head slap.
Oh God, please! You have to get away! He won't ever stop!
But professionally? Well, Dana White lets athletes do just that in his official power slap competition. He's come under fire, though, ever since. Exploitative clips have surfaced online regarding power slap.
So this all started for me back in 2017. I started seeing some of these slap videos on social media, and I started to do some research on some of the companies.
Online critics have blasted him harshly, labeling the event pure exploitation after recordings from the contentious battle went viral on social media. The UFC president assisted in the creation of the Slappity Slap TV show, in which contenders take turns slapping their opponents in the face with open hands. They could name it the slap galore or something, but I guess community guidelines need to be met. Its premiere this week was received with outrage from fans and neurologists. Why, you ask? Well, here's the fun part. Competitors may not flinch when being slapped. This leads to assertions that they are defenseless. The competition, which White has dubbed the ultimate test of toughness, has been approved by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. But neurologists are just not having this sporty display of slaps. Former wrestler and neurologist Chris Nowinski, the guy is the CEO of the Concussion Legacy Foundation. He cited an example of a competitor who may never be the same after a video appeared to show him displaying immediate indications of a serious head injury. Oof. White sparked even more outrage when he used Twitter to promote the Power Slap League, mere days after being caught on camera slapping his wife on New Year's Eve. To elaborate, White, a 53-year-old grown man, was observed twice slapping his wife of 27 years, Anne, at a Mexican nightclub after she slapped him. Later on, White apologized for his behavior, while his wife stated that his attitude was out of character and that nothing like this has ever happened before. These guys need therapy, I swear. Coming back to professional, not domestic slaps, though, do you guys know how much the payout is for getting your brain rewired? The UFC veteran claimed he was guaranteed just $2,000 for a brutal slap fight. Eric Spicely, a UFC veteran, was given a contract worth only $2,000 to fight in Dana White's new Power Slap League. Spicely, 36, fought in the UFC for 3 years before being released after a 3-5 record at 185 pounds.
He needs to drive that elbow, bring that right elbow tight.
That's it. Spicely with the choke out by rear naked choke. This one doesn't last long. Tebow tried his best, tried to fight back.
Since then, the Canadian has battled in Abu Dhabi and around Europe. I don't know whether to laugh or not, but he has been knocked out in all 3 of his battles.
Coming out of this event that is going to that roster.
Oh, baby! That was a boom shot.
Mr. Spicely was promised a position in the new slap fighting tournament, but was taken aback by the salary he was given. Spicely left the UFC after pulling out of a fight on short notice owing to a difficult weight cut. The 36-year-old eventually admitted to using antidepressants after suffering brain damage in a scuffle the year before. This guy was going through it all right, and the release of Power Slap couldn't have come at a worse moment. The first episode of Power Slap averaged 295,000 viewers in the US. This is all according to official TV ratings. It's also available to fans outside the US on the streaming site Rumble. Sadly, the public thinks doing these slaps out of a controlled zone is okay. There's multiple clips doing the rounds on social media about people slapping and knocking the out of each other. The goal is to knock out or force your opponent to give up, and the outcomes may be quite severe, as proven by a recent RXF tournament in Romania. That drew the attention of UFC superstar Conor McGregor.
He's talking to him now.
Oh, yeah. Hands at his hips, having a conversation, looking to finish the fight.
That's it. Wow.
The fact that Notorious is interested in slap combat is apt because Dana White's Power Slap League launched one recent evening to a lukewarm reception. However, just over 24 hours later, social media has been swamped with footage from White's new slap campaign. People absolutely cannot believe what he's getting behind. Despite the fact that he has said that he is not forcing anybody to watch, White pumped out his chest just to say that the people participating in this stuff are healthy. They have medical professionals flanking them, and that it's just a couple of slaps, pointing out that fighters in the UFC take take 300 to 400 slaps in one fight, but I'm going to emphasize the clips that have frothed up. Courtney Olsen was viciously knocked out in one especially disturbing clip by Sheena Bathory. Her eyes literally roll back into one hellacious slap on the show. In another match, Olsen struggled to her feet, but instead fell into a forward roll in front of a live audience. Even a certain Chris Thomas viciously knocked out his opponent with the first slap he gave in another battle, resulting in the most unsettling few seconds of the tournament. Chris Kennedy's body tightened as he dropped to the floor, and his fists bunched into a fist as he began convulsing, all while his opponent rushed about celebrating his victory. Even UFC fighters are going against White's new venture. Brendan Schaub, a former UFC fighter,
Outstanding job by Brendan Schaub. And that is what we said, that if this fight went to the ground, Brendan Schaub would have an advantage.
was one of the first well-known detractors of the new sport. He branded it the he'd ever seen and argued that White's affiliation with it caused great harm to MMA. I will reiterate in wake of all these comments that neurologists have expressed their worry about the regulations and say the league is a recipe for catastrophe. The premiere episode of the slap fighting competition Power Slap Road to the Title was scheduled for January 11, but it was postponed by 1 week owing to its namesake, Walter White, being caught on video smacking his wife on New Year's Eve. It has subsequently been established that White would suffer no professional repercussions, even if he punched and slapped his wife. According to a brain expert, a competitor on Dana White's Power Slap League might sustain lifelong brain damage after being forcefully knocked unconscious. Welterweights Chris Thomas and Chris Kennedy competed in the series' exhibition phase, which took place 10 months ago. Kennedy was struck unconscious and dropped to the mat with Thomas's first smack. In horrific circumstances, his entire body stiffened as officials administered medical care to him. When the official ruling was read out, Kennedy was unable to rise back to his feet to join Thomas and the referee. In fact, Kennedy experienced short-term memory loss just seconds after his knockout defeat. The knock was so bad that the medics had to remind him of what had happened. When an athlete is knocked out in combat sports, short-term memory loss is generally uncommon. But Kennedy's situation appeared especially dangerous because he had forgotten if he even competed in the tournament. To add salt to Kenny's wounds, after his knockout victory, White praised Thomas, saying, "He's got incredible power, terrific energy. I love everything about that guy. What a butt." Power Slap's introduction has been immensely controversial among fight fans, and again, it was not helped by White being publicly caught hitting his wife on New Year's Eve. MMA suffered years of scrutiny in its early years, but it was salvaged by providing consistent regulation.
Factory in Paris as they bring in guys.
Ngannou knocks Arlovsky down. That is it. The Predator Francis Ngannou.
However, a slap league in which participants cannot effectively defend themselves has prompted concerns over the contender's safety. According to official TV statistics, the debut episode of Power Slap drew 295,000 viewers in the U.S. A weekly episode of All Elite Wrestling, which aired on the same network as Power Slap, drew 969,000 people during its 2-hour broadcast. My only concern is that in the long run, people might be okay with seeing athletes willingly knocking each other's lights out. Dana will have no issue promoting the competition, and I know he will be smiling when it inevitably starts getting promoted. For better or worse, that's all I have for you about this bizarre slapping league. See you in the next installment.